Thank you for taking the time to watch the recording of our latest webinar, ActivInspire, What Do I Do With That Again? On screen now you will see some of the content that I covered in this session. Since most of you will just be several weeks into your teaching year, we thought that it would be useful to revisit some of the basics of ActivInspire, which specifically focus on finding time-saving ideas. Like, for example, making use of content created by others, mixing content and pages of Flipcharts, and using content created in other programs as a basis for your ActivInspire Flipcharts. All of this, hopefully, to save on that valuable preparation time. So let's have a look first of all at finding content. ActivInspire has been around for quite a few years now, so therefore there is a lot of user-created content available out there. It's just a matter of finding it. So the first obviously is to do a web search. And just doing a basic Google search for ActivInspire Flipcharts will call up a lot of content that's out there, a lot of different sites that you can have a look at to find this type of content. Now, most of the ones at the top here will be related to Promethean Planet, which is our free online user community, and I'll come back to that in just a little bit. But as you have a closer look, you will find, say, the top one here, ABC Teach, who offer Promethean interactive Flipcharts. As well as if we scroll down, we start to see other websites who are offering Flipchart content as well. Back in my Flipchart, you can see that I've actually just put a couple examples here, and we're going to have a look at these websites. Now, these are just a small selection of a huge amount of websites that have Flipchart content that are available out there. And I'm by no means endorsing these sites over any other ones. I just wanted to use these as a little example of the different types of sites where you can find Flipchart content. So let's have a look at the amazing Classroom.com site first of all. So in here, we've got a nice site that tells us that we've got lots of Promethean Flipchart content here. And if I scroll down, I can get more information about them. But if I were to go to download this, right away I can see that in order to get this Flipchart, I need to join. And when I click on that, I then get more information about joining. And I notice here that actually this content isn't free of charge. I need to subscribe to the website and pay a fee for using it. There's nothing wrong with this. I think this is great because what you will find is that the Flipchart content on this site is probably of very high quality, and the teachers who have put this content together have put a lot of time and effort into creating high quality content for you. So therefore there's no reason why they shouldn't be asking for a small fee. But it's down to you whether or not you want to pay that fee, or if you want to continue to try and find other sites where you might be able to get the Flipcharts for free of charge. Our second one I just want to point out is another one here called Primary Resources. Now this is a site that I used to use when I was teaching and have used quite often, even in my capacity with teaching a learning consultant for Promethean. And I'm just going to go into the site to have a look at an example. So let's go into maths and let's click on counting here. So this is a free website that has lots of different lots of content that takes different formats. So using lots of different content in different programs. So you can see that we've got Flash activities, PowerPoints, documents, PDFs, but they do also have a selection of ActivInspire Flipcharts on here as well. And this is a really great site. I use this all the time to go in and I can have a look at the Flipcharts and I can download that content and use it free of charge. So there are quite a lot of sites out there where you actually can find some good Flipchart content at no cost to you as well. The last one I just want to mention is the TESS website. And I don't know if some of you probably have already registered for this and use this. This is an example of a site where you actually find mixed content. So some of it is free and some of it will carry a small charge. So again, it's up to you whether or not you want to pay the small charge to purchase content, or if you just want to use the free stuff that's on here. But just doing a search there at the top for Flipcharts, you'll see that it's come up with a variety of member submitted Flipchart content on various lessons that might be relevant to what you're teaching in your class, in your school. So another great place to go and look for content. So you have sites that you might need to subscribe to and pay to download the content. You have other sites where you can get it for free. And also you have other sites where it's mixed, where you might need to pay a little bit to access some of those lessons. Now, the other thing that you might want to do is get content to use to create your own Flipcharts. So again, using the internet, you can find some really great searches that give you images and clip art that look fantastic when you're building your Flipchart content. Google Images is really good for this, but just because it's on Google Images doesn't mean that the copyright allows you to use it in your classroom, in your Flipcharts. So I'm going to come back to Google Images a little bit later when we look at Creative Commons. What you can do is purely just do a web search for free clip art for schools. And as you can see, it comes up with a huge variety of sites that offer this. Now, what I would suggest is that if you do go into any of these sites, and let's just clip into one here, that you make sure that you have a look at what the copyright actually is. So I know that one of these sites, go to the next one here, if I scroll down to the bottom of this site, I can read about the copyright information here. So before you take content to use in your lessons, if you are concerned about copyright at all, I do suggest you take the time to look at what the copyright rules are on each individual website. Okay, but it is great content, and there is a lot out there that you can use for educational purposes free of charge. There are lots of fantastic teachers who are sharing links to websites and ideas of where to get this content. So instead of just having to do a blind search and going through each one, you can tap into people's blogs. So for example, I found this one at 123ict.co.uk, and I love this blog here, which gives some links to their top 11 or top 10 sites, 11 here actually, of free copyright clip art of photographs for use in education. So instead of you having to search around to find the sites, you can make use of other people's time where they've gone to do this by having a look out for some of these blogs. So as I say, this is just one of the blogs of many that I found that do this. Now, the last one I want to mention here is just the Creative Commons website. Now, what I really like about this is right away I can do a very quick filter on lots of different sites to give me material that allows the copyright for me to use it in the classroom. So for example, if I just type in a keyword up here, so I'm going to do school, and because I work for Promethean, I'm going to search for content that is copyright for commercial use, and I want to be able to modify, adapt, or build on it in my ActivInspire Flipchart. So I'm also going to select that one. Now down here, I can search via, and then I have a drop down, and you can see all the different sites that I'm able to search through to find this type of content. And I'm going to use that Google Images again, because I mentioned that before as being a very good place to find content to use in my Flipcharts. So I'm just going to click search. And what it'll do is it'll bring up me a Google search of images and clip art that I can use in my Flipcharts. And what I like is right away, it has modified that search. And you can see here, if I click on that, it's filtered by license and they're labeled for reuse with modification. So I know that I can use this within my classroom. Now, to get one of these into my Flipchart, I can click on it to do a bigger view. And then if I right click on that image, I can copy the image, go into my Flipchart, and then I'm just going to paste that onto my Flipchart page. And you can see I now have that image there. Once I bring that in here, that has editable properties, so I can edit it in various ways to use. The other way that I can bring that image into my Flipchart is to save that image onto my hard drive of my computer. So I'm just going to save that on my computer. Okay? Then if I go back into the ActivInspire software, I want to click Insert Media, and then I'm going to navigate to my Pictures folder and find that image. So we can see I've got that image here. I'm going to select it and then open, and you'll see that that's put that on my Flipchart page. And once again, it is an image with editable properties, so I can pick that up and edit it, move it around as I want to fit into my lesson. But of course, the best place to find Flipchart, clip art, and image content for use in lesson creation is from the Promethean Planet website. So Promethean Planet, as I said, is the best place to go for ActivInspire content to use in the classroom. There are thousands of fantastic educator-created lessons that teachers have designed for their own classrooms and then have shared with others to use through this website. There is also hundreds of supplementary resource packs which take the worry away from you for finding copyright-free content to use to build your Flipcharts. So let's have a look at the site. Searching Promethean Planet is easy. Just in the search bar at the top here, I can type in a keyword. So let's do shapes, and then I just want to click search. And what this does is it's going to search this site for words, for resources that meet my search criteria. So you can see right away that it's displaying 1 to 10 of 370 resources that have that keyword. And I can scroll down and have a look at them. Now, right now, I've only searched for ones that were relevant for the United Kingdom, and I can see that down my filters down the side here. But it's a maths topic, and it is English language. So actually, if I add here, I could decide that probably some of the content submitted by Promethean users in the United States would be relevant. So I can widen that search, and now you see that I actually have 683 resources that are available to me. If I scroll down again, we can have a look at some of what that is. Now that's a lot for me to look through, so actually I want to filter that a little bit more. So in this case, I'm looking specifically for Flipchart content. So down the side here at the bottom, I've got file format. So I can just choose that I actually want just Promethean Flipcharts. And once again, it's going to go back and search that, and it's narrowed that down to 470 now. So I could keep changing the filters, so keep filtering that down to make my search more specific. But I'm just going to stop there for just now. Once I have this, I can take a look and say, well, now that's interesting. I think I'd like to have a preview of that. So I could click on that, and what this then does is just give me a preview. I have more information about that particular Flipchart, and I can also see the thumbnails, so I can have an idea of the content before I download it. And then if I decide I do like that, I do want to keep it, I just click the download button here, and the download will start automatically. Now, as I'm using Chrome, my download happens here in the bottom, so I can see that Flipchart has now downloaded in the bottom left. And if I click on it, I can then open. And that will automatically launch the ActivInspire, open up in my ActivInspire software. And once it's imported, I can then flip back to ActivInspire, and now I can see that Flipchart I've downloaded from Promethean Planet and all the pages is now within my software. If I want to keep that on my computer, then I would just go to File and Save as normal, and save that onto my hard drive, onto a pen drive, or onto a shared drive. Okay. Now, I can also download resource packs from Promethean Planet. So I'm just going to come back here, and I'm going to do a search again. And this time, I'm just going to do a search for backgrounds. Okay, and see what we come up. So it's coming up with 109 resources that have backgrounds as the keyword search. And right away I can tell that these are all ActivInspire resource packs, because I can see the little icon here that tells me that. What I could have done was just done my general shapes search again, and then under file format, I could have selected Promethean resource packs. So if I look and find one that I like, and I am just going to choose, let's get this one, Promethean Activity Backgrounds Resource Pack, and I can just click download here. Once again, because I'm in Chrome, that should do. Oh, let's see if I've not quite clicked it. There we go. It will download that into the bottom left here, and once it's ready I can then just choose to open it. Now I'm not going to do this because importing the resource pack into my software will take a little bit of time, and I want to keep the webinar moving. So what happens when you open it is you'll then be asked by ActivInspire, do you want to put it in your shared resources or my resources? Now that's up to you, but I always recommend that anything I download from Promethean Planet, I put it into my resources. And it just means that I can find it a little bit more easily than having to try and find it in the bulk of stuff in the shared resources. But again, that's purely up to you. Once you select that, it will then import it, and then it will index your resource library. Now, I do recommend that you are just patient and allow it to index the resource library, because that means that once you go into your software and under your resource browser, you could put in a search. So if you don't allow the index to do, then the content within your resource library won't be searchable. So I do recommend that you do that. And just before I move on, one quick mention about ActivInspire resources in your shared area. Now, when you install the ActivInspire software, it automatically will install with the top 5 resource packs here. So that's activities and templates, backgrounds, grids, lesson building tools, and sounds. What you don't automatically get is this one here, the subjects. And this is a really important one because it is all your subject areas broken down and resources to help you build within those subject areas. So this is a separate download from Promethean Planet. And to get to that, you just need to go to support on Promethean Planet and choose software, ActivInspire, and then down the right hand side here under software and drivers, you can find the ActivInspire resource pack. So if you don't have that, I suggest that you do download that and get that into your software. Okay, so now we've had a look at where you can get content from. So let's have a look at, once I find that content, what can I do with it within my software? Now in this case, I'm going to talk specifically about Flipchart content. So let's pretend I'm a primary teacher, and tomorrow I'm going to be looking at 3D shapes with my maths class. I've started to create my own Flipchart, and you can see that here at the top. If we look at my page, I've got some pages in there as well. I'm just going to change that page view. But I'm finding this has taken an awful lot of time, and I've got lots of other things to do in my evening. So I've decided to go onto Promethean Planet and have a look to see if there's anything that I can use. And not surprisingly, there is. Now, instead of going to waste a bit of time in this webinar to go to Planet and do these search, what I've done is I've already done the search and I've downloaded these Flipcharts onto my computer, and I've just put a little link here within this Flipchart. So if I click on that, it's going to open up a Flipchart, and you can see it's opened up here at the top. So I'm just going to open up the 3 Flipcharts that I found that have content that I like. I don't have to create everything from scratch. I can go and make use of content that I found on Promethean Planet. So in this Flipchart here, as I said, I've started to create my pages, and I've got this page here for sorting 2D and 3D shapes. When I was searching through on Planet, I found this fantastic Flipchart that I liked, and it had some images here. Now I liked this page, but I wanted to do it on my page to sort them first of all, instead of identifying what type of 3D shape it is, to sort them into whether they were 2D or 3D. I had my 2D shapes that I got from using my shape browser in ActivInspire, but my 3D shapes, I thought it would just be simpler to get the images from here, because I really like these ones. So I could just select it, go to copy from my object edit menu, and then I can flip back onto my page here, right click, and I can paste that into my Flipchart there. So you can see I can move content from one Flipchart page to another. I can also multi-select, so I can take more than one of these at a time. I'm going to copy and paste that onto my page here. Let's paste it onto my page, sorry. And I can then pick those objects up and move them around onto my page as I want them to be presented. Okay, so I can move content from one flip chart to another flip chart just by copying and pasting. But what I can also do is I can move whole pages. So looking through this flip chart, I like some of these pages. I like this quiz at the end. So I'm just going to pick that up and drag that and drop that onto the tab of my own flip chart. If I want to drag more than one page, what I can do is I could choose the ones I want. I like that one and that one, that one and that one, multi-select, and then drag both of those and drop them on there. If I go to the next flip chart, it's this page I like, so I'm going to drag that and drop that into my flip chart. And on this one, I like the definitions one, so I'm going to drag that and drop that onto my flip chart as well. And if I go back to my flip chart here, you'll see that those pages have now been added in there. Now I don't have to keep them in this order. Actually, I'd like to reorder it so that it fits into the structure of how I want to progress through this lesson with my class. So I can just pick those up and drag them where I want them to be. So I'd like that one up there. This activity we're going to have after that one. And I want that to be here so that my quiz is at the end. So I can start to use the content I've taken from other people's flip charts and start to build one that better meets the needs of my learning objectives for this lesson and for my particular class. Now, once I have them in here, I don't need to use those pages exactly as they were from the other flip charts where I got them from. So for example, this page here, I can edit it. So the text is interactive, so I can pick it up and move it around and change it even if I wanted to. So I like this page, but for me, what I would want to do is to reveal these hints in the riddle one at a time and see how quickly my class can get it. So what I'm going to do that is just use the shape tool here, and I'm going to select a rectangle, and I'm just going to draw that on top of that text. And what I've now done is used a shape to create a little reveal tool where I can reveal those tips to my class one at a time. Okay, get them to guess what it is, and then I can use a feature of the software, the reveal, as the original author of the Flipchart intended to rub that out and reveal it. Okay, so we can see what the correct answer was. So I guess the biggest point that I want to make with this is that I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to create everything myself. So I can go onto Promethean Planet or other websites, download Flipchart content and make use of content that other people have created. But I don't have to use it exactly as it is. So I can pick and choose the pages that are most relevant to my lesson and then create my own Flipchart with those pages interspersed amongst pages that I've created myself. I can reorganize that so that the structure is right for me, and I can also edit or tweak those pages to better suit the needs of my learners. Best practice, of course, is always to give credit to the author who did create those original pages themselves. But it's not only Flipcharts that I can use to help me save time and not having to create everything from scratch. I can also make use of resources that I've created in other file formats as well to help create the basis of my ActivInspire Flipcharts. So ActivInspire allows me to import several different file formats into ActivInspire Flipcharts, enabling me to use things like PowerPoints, PDFs, and even Smart Notebook files to once again save on my preparation time. To do this, I just want to go up to File, Import, and here you can see that I can import PowerPoint as images, objects, I can bring in PDFs, I can also bring in Smart Notebook and Smart Gallery items. Now I just want to start off with PowerPoint here. So you can see I've actually got two options for importing a PowerPoint. The first one, what it does is it takes a screenshot of that PowerPoint slide and it brings that into ActivInspire, and each slide in PowerPoint will be a separate Flipchart page. But because it takes it as an image, it means that the objects on that page aren't editable. So if I had text, I wouldn't be able to edit the text. I wouldn't be able to separate the text and images and move them around. So I always recommend that you bring PowerPoint in as objects. And I'm going to do that right now. So if I click on that, again, it's going to open up my hard drive. And I just want to go here to where I have a PowerPoint stored. And I'm just going to click open. And what that's going to do is that is going to now import that into my ActivInspire software and then convert it into a Promethean Flipchart. Now this can take time depending on the size of the Flipchart, of the PowerPoint presentation that you're trying to import in. What I do recommend is if you are using a PowerPoint that has lots of high resolution images, or if you have links from your PowerPoint to documents or videos, that you consider taking these out, and then once you've imported the basic structure of that PowerPoint presentation into your ActivInspire software, you can use the features of ActivInspire to bring that back in again. That means that this process will be a little bit quicker. So instead of taking so long for that import process to work, that should be much faster to convert that into a Flipchart. So you can see here that it's just working on importing that, and we should be just about done. Here we are. And now you can see that PowerPoint presentation has now been brought in and is in Flipchart format. I can see all of the different slides are now individual pages in my Flipchart. If I click those pages, select anything on it, because I brought them in as separate objects, you can see I can move the text, I can move the images, and I could double click in there. Oh, not on that particular one, because it's grouped. I could double click in there and go in and edit my text. Okay. Now in the PowerPoint presentation, it was set up with animations. So what happened was the class would be presented with what shape am I? And then when I clicked on the screen, each of these points would come up one at a time. So as you can see, when I brought it into ActivInspire, I've actually lost those animations. But that's okay, because there's various ways that I can have that same effect by using the features of ActivInspire. And one very simple way is to use my reveal tool. So if I go here to my property browser and I've got my tools here, what I want to do is just put on the revealer tool. And I don't like to have that blank black page presented to my class, so what I can do is just pull that down, and then I can save the revealer into that position. Now one thing to be aware of is when I put the reveal tool on, when I turn to my next page, it too will have that reveal tool. So what you need to do to make sure that it's only on the page you want it to be is to go to the page after, and I just want to change that to tools off in my property browser, and then I'm going to flip, that's the page I want it on. I'm going to go to the page before, and I'm going to do the same, tools off. And now when I turn through my Flipchart pages, you can see that the reveal tool is only on that one specific page that I want. So we could bring in PowerPoint, and I'm just going to give myself some more space up here at the top by closing some of these Flipcharts. So as I said, I can also import PDFs. So let's choose a little PDF here. Now I need to go and find where I've stored that. So I'm just going to go into my webinar folder here on my hard drive, and I'm just going to go into today's webinar and 3D shapes here and find the PDF that I want. So I've got this one here, and I'm going to open that. I can import a PDF and leave it just as the original PDF size. I can create a custom size for the page. I can take all the pages in, or I could limit the pages that I get from that PDF. And I can also put it at the beginning of the end of a current Flipchart or add it to a new one. I'm just going to leave it as it is and import it to a new Flipchart. When it imports, you'll see that it's put all of that on one Flipchart page, which has made that really narrow on my screen. But you can see each of those 4 pages in my PDF have been brought in as a separate page in my ActivInspire software. What I could do up here at the top is I could just change that, how that fits on my page. So I could do fid to width, and what that would then do is create a scroll bar down the side, so I could scroll to be able to see it. Then we can make use of the tools here and just be able to annotate on top of it and have my class interact with it there. So instead of having to recreate that whole PDF in my ActivInspire software, I can just import it in. Now, I probably wouldn't have done that with this PDF. I would have used my camera tool to bring it in to fit better on a Flipchart page. But this is really, really great for revision exercises. So you're probably aware that there's loads of fantastic revision tests out there, old test papers that you can use for revision with your class. And a lot of them come in PDF format. So what I can do is import that old test paper into my software, and then we can discuss it and interact with it using the features of ActivInspire very quickly. Okay, so great for revision. The last one I just want to cover is importing Smart Notebook files. So what I can do is just select that, and you can see I've got a Smart Notebook file here, and I'm just going to click open. And once again, that's going to import and create a Flipchart page for me. And again, once it's in here, this is all editable, so I can change that to suit my purposes, but it means that if I already have it in a Smart Notebook file, I don't have to reproduce the whole thing again in ActivInspire. I can then use this lesson and then use the features of ActivInspire to build on it. What I can also do is take these pages again and mix and match them with my own Flipchart. So you can see that page is now added in there. So as always, there is so much more that I would like to have covered in this session, but I felt that it would just make the webinar too long. So I hope that I've given you a quick reminder of what ActivInspire is and how you can create great lesson content for your classes without dramatically increasing your preparation time. You're all very busy teachers, so don't try and reinvent everything. Use some of the tips that I've provided tonight to make use of content that's already available out there and that you may already have yourself in other formats that you can bring in and convert into your ActivInspire Flipcharts. We've now been offering this webinar series for 2 years, and each session has been recorded and the videos shared on our Promethean UKI YouTube channel. If this webinar has whet your appetite and you would want to find out more, why not have a look at some of our other recordings in this series. On screen is my email address, so if you do have any questions about what you've seen, please feel free to email me directly and I'll help you out as well as I can. Also, I just want to point out our Twitter handle @PrometheanUKI, and also the one that I use specifically for myself, TLC4UKI. I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you'll take the time to join us on our future webinar titles and also come back to our YouTube channel and view some more of the recordings. For any UK educators on the call, we have a new series of content sessions starting. This is a new way forward for Promethean to discuss and look at some of the hot topics in UK education. Our first webinar in the series is on collaboration. We will be sending out your link to the recording with an invitation to our collaboration webinar, and we hope that you will be able to join us. Thank you.